And we're back with another 2022 Game of the Year deliberations. Oh man, this is always a good one. Now we've moved on to Best Switch Port of 2022. This is a game that had already come out and finally made its way onto the Nintendo Switch because we love Nintendo Switch here. We love Nintendo. So they get extra special categories from us. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules. Well, I guess I do make some of the rules, but I also just have to enforce them as a judge. I have to interpret the law. I'm not really a judge. Please don't send the cops after. I'm judging this, I guess. I'm not a federal or legal judge. But I will
Blake's
be
brain is
judging some
broken.
games. Thank you. I have been up for a very long time today.
Blake's
Um,
malfunction.
all right, we're gonna get to it. It's time for Best Nintendo Switch Port. Ozzy, let's start with you.
Well, this year I was really surprised during one of the Nintendo Directs when it was announced that the Portal Companion Collection was coming to Switch. And I thought, okay, you know what? I really love these games. These are two all-time great games. And now I get to have it on the Switch and I get to play it. I brought this up in another category, but it's one of those date night games. Portal 2 especially, because Portal 2 obviously has a co-op element to it. What I really liked about the companion collection on Switch is just how well it's almost seamless between the PC version. And this is one of those things where you'd be like, well, the games are 10 to 15 years old. I would certainly hope that they run well. And they do. They certainly do. They're running at 60 FPS. They look gorgeous. It's almost one to one from the PC version. And you get to use motion control. You get to use the Joy Cons to actually aim and shoot your portal gun. I thought that was amazing. So for me, the the Portal Companion Collection was like one of my favorite date night games of the year, and it's probably the best port that I've played in a long time on the Switch. Because we're so used to seeing underpowered sort or like half baked ports, and to get something working on the Switch, like you have to pull a magic act. Like this is why we love Panic Button so much. Is because they're able to like push the just push the Switch to its limit and like kind of like practically have it melting in order to like make something like Doom look even half decent. Valve didn't have to, or I don't even know who did the Portal Companion Collection, but whoever did it actually, it didn't look. It looked. They made it look easy.
That's fair. So I guess what you're saying is this is a triumph. Are you
Yes,
making a
Blake. That's
note
exactly
here?
what I would say.
Huge success. All right. Well,
Swish.
there we go. All right. Thank you. Thank you for catching my reference. But I actually, Greg, I'm also a little bit surprised by your nomination. This is a great game too. I love this game, but is it a port or did it just release
It came
on
out on
the
PC
Switch?
first. Rogue Legacy 2 is my nomination because it came out on PC and it's a super fun game. And I'm like, man, I just was on Nintendo Switch. And then when Ozzy and I interviewed the devs for that game, we're like, man, we wish this was on Nintendo Switch. Like, it's a platform. It should be on this platform. And then, like, I think it was Ozzy was like, hey, this came out today out of nowhere. Like, they just were like, here it is. Here, it's ported to the Switch now. Here you go. And
I
it
was
was
also surprised to see that at a direct. I think it was at an Indie World where they're just like, "It's out today." I'm like, "It is."
yeah, and I was like, "This is great! Like, this is great! It runs nice on the Switch, and it's fun just as well as PC, and it's a great game. I just love that. Platformers are so good on the Switch.
No, the Rogue Legacy series is one of my all-time favorites. It really I don't play a lot of roguelites or roguelite or roguelike. Roguelite, like
This is more of a
whichever
light.
one.
That's it.
This is a little more
Yeah.
forgiving.
Yeah, I tend to not grind through games like that too much, but like Rogue Legacy like was my introduction sort of to the genre in a lot of ways, and I've been so pumped for Rogue Legacy 2. They added so much to it. It's a really good game. It's really awesome. Good. I like your pick, Greg. I think it's a good pick, but we have a couple. We have another game that I think a lot of people really enjoy on staff here. That also is getting a nomination from a bunch of folks. Um, Morgan, you want to take this one? You want to throw this nomination out?
I mean, this was kind of a difficult category for me, but looking at the Switch ports, I picked Persona 5 Royal just because I think it plays really well on the Switch and it's a really great game. But I don't have like a lot of like strong opinions. I think there was a lot of other good Switch ports, but yeah, Persona 5 Royal, it's a good one.
I
Yeah.
think just one of the most significant Switch ports, if nothing else. I feel like Persona fans were dying for that game on Switch, and the fact that we got Joker in Smash years ago, and that game was on Switch felt like a mockery almost. So this felt like something that just had to happen, and now it's finally there, and it runs really well on Switch.
And I
It's a
haven't
great
played
game.
that game, but it's like there's a lot going on in the Persona games, and the fact that it's on the Switch and like it runs well, Morgan. That runs well is amazing. Like that, there's a
Yeah.
lot going on in those games, and so like if you can do that on the Switch, yeah, that's good.
Like, pardon me if this is like way off base, but is Persona 5 a very graphically intensive game to begin with? Imagine its art style kinds of lends itself well to a port like this, just based off of what I've seen of the game personally. And also, when did Persona 5 originally come out? What console
Ooh,
was
that feels
that?
like a while ago that it came out on
PlayStation.
Yeah,
PlayStation.
PlayStation 3, I think. The one where you like they
yeah.
shoot each other in the head to activate their abilities, right? That was the first one that I saw. I don't know
That
which
was
one that
I
is.
Persona
think
3.
It's 3. There you go.
Persona 5 first came out in 2016. So 6-year-old game.
I think that
Persona 3 will
also
be up for this category next year, I believe.
Yeah, so I think that also kind of makes it a little bit easier to port too. Is that it's a little more in stride with when the Switch was first coming out. So yeah, not as graphically intensive as like a lot of other things they've tried to port, like the Witcher 3 or something.
Mhm.
You know, but a good one. I think a lot of people are actually discovering Persona 5 for the first time because it's finally on the Switch too. I think it's opened it up to like a whole new generation of players there.
They also
As
got
far
the
as
best
that.
version because Royale fixes some pretty annoying story flaws in the regular game.
Well, do you think they'll ever come out with a Royale with cheese version?
Hmm.
Or man, has anyone just put cheese on their Persona 5 Royale?
Just throw a slice of a craft single onto Morgana's face.
Yeah, that actually, if that's not a meme already, I would be shocked. Um, All right. And then that is not our last nomination, though. I think we have one more. Yeah,
Yes.
TJ. TJ coming out of left field once again. Really putting some thought into this. I like it. What do you got for us, TJ?
No Mansky. Once a tragedy, now a triumph. Uh, that game has been through the ringer, and they've just continued. And this was the year they finally brought it over to Switch, and it plays well. Like they've been building onto No Man's Sky for such a long time, and what a good comeback it was to begin with. But like here on a Nintendo Switch, not only does the game run well, but they also brought every single thing that they've improved upon the game with, short of multiplayer. Which, like, yeah, that kind of stinks that you can't do multiplayer on the Switch version. But I think that's more of a Switch ecosystem thing than a No Man's Sky thing. But everything else is there: the space exploration, the expeditions, the narrative content, the base building. It's a really cool thing to be able to take all of that on the road and just play it wherever I feel like it.
And it runs really well, TJ.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it runs surprisingly well for a game that just like it mostly runs off procedural generation as you enter and move around galaxies. I love that game as far as like the space exploration element goes. I knew it. I saw its limitations way back then when it came out, but to see how they've improved upon it and to see all those things come together in the Switch is makes me really happy.
I'm actually surprised to hear that it runs really well. I would not have guessed that, given the scale of that game. So
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, but it's like each planet is generated, right? Like as you go to it, basically, right?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah. So it doesn't necessarily have to load a whole universe, but like I imagine like having to like progressively go through a planet has to be like a tough on the Switch.
Yeah, and that's the part where it handles it very, very well. And I was surprised to see how well it deals with loading what No Man's Sky does as you go without too much of a hitch in performance.
That's dope. Man. Well, if we don't have any other nominations, I think we might be ready to vote on this one. What do you all say? And right, here we go. Bill Lavoy.
So I was on the fence here, but from hearing the arguments that people made and taking into account the significance and also arguments that I've heard other people make outside of deliberations over the course of the last few months, I'm going to vote for Persona 5.
One for Persona 5. Sam Chandler.
I think Persona fans have had a massive win with Persona 5, so that's going to be my vote.
Fair enough. I'm going to hold off for a moment on myself and ask Donovan where his vote lies.
I will say Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5 Royale is your vote. Greg.
I'm going to stick with Rogue Legacy 2.
One vote for Rogue Legacy 2. TJ.
No Mansky.
One vote for No Man's. Ozzy.
Portal.
Portals. Sticking to Portals. There's no Blake Bortles edition in the Portals, but maybe one day. Morgan.
Persona 5 Royal.
Persona 5 Royale. All right. And we have a few absentee nominations as well. So let's get to them now. Asif voted for Persona 5 Royale as well. I know he's been playing that game and really digging it. I don't know if he's ever gotten into Persona before. I feel like this is his first time, but putting it on the Switch was definitely a good way to get Asif to play it for sure. That was a smart move by Atlas, and I'm sure that was what they had in mind when they did it. And then let's see, who else do we have absentee voting? Denny also voting for Persona 5 Royale. Sakura Bleu. And finally, we've got Stevie T in the place to be voting for Persona 5 Royale as well. Man, this must be a heck of a port.
David as well?
No, David did not vote for Persona 5 Royale.
No, that's true, yeah.
Yeah, David voted for Portal Companion Collection. There you go, Ozzy. Yeah, there you go. And then I guess it comes down to my vote. You know what? All I can say is I love Portal. And I love the idea of being able to take Portal with me anywhere. So I am putting my vote towards the Portal Companion Collection. Because, yeah, I don't know. When life gives you lemons, you put those lemons on the Nintendo Switch and make them portable. Hi, David.
Hello. I know exactly which category we're doing, and I can vote if I need to.
Well, I already spoiled your vote. You got here.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, if you had like, a portal through time instead of just a portal that like could get you from point A to point B, you might be able to do something about that.
Yeah.
But the gavel's about to go down, David. You got here just in time for the ruling. It's Persona Royale. It's Persona 5 Royale. It's the winner. It got it. Best Nintendo Switch port of 2022. Well deserved victory. Congratulations, Persona 5 Royale. You're the best Nintendo Switch port of 2022.
I won't let you down.